What's up, dudes and dudettes of the internet? My name's Seth and we are back again for another Trove tutorial, and today we're going to be talking about the gem system. So just a heads up, everybody, this video may end up being a little bit longer just because the gem system in itself is a lot more complex than anything we've ever dealt with in Trove. Now, I gotta get rid of some of this stuff out of my inventory. That was actually from a different video that I was doing. But yeah, so anyway, the Trove has now added a bunch of new elemental portals, and in each of those portals, you're going to get the appropriate level of chest from completing dungeons, depending on the Uber dungeon that you're actually in, and it is also going to give you the proper elements. So this is the hub tower right here. Of course, we're going to have all these portals in like Team Pixel and stuff, and at U3, the water portal gets introduced. So we're just going to hop into here right now. Each of the elemental portals, there's the water one, there's the air, there is fire, and then last but not least, there is the shadow one. However, you don't get any gems out of the shadow arena, except for the Shadow Coliseum, I should say, the Shadow World, like the Everdark. I'm still trying to get all the lingo proper because it's all so new to me. But either way, the only things that you end up getting out of the Shadow World is empowered gems, which we will talk about that in a little bit, because as per right now, I'm just going to go over to this dungeon right here and just kind of show you, like, the map generation is very, very different, and generally speaking, this is kind of a world completely filled with water, and most of these biomes are actually, like, even right here, it's actually showing that this is an undead Treasure Isles biome, meaning that we can actually sail through the ocean and find undead islands floating around in the sea and stuff like that. So as we complete the dungeon and destroy the chest, you're gonna see this, the uncommon water gem box, and of course, the tier of box is gonna go higher and higher as you end up going into the higher Uber worlds, right? So this box in itself is going to give us a water gem. So let's just open it. Nice, you got a generic water gem. Of course, there is lucky chance where you can end up getting a higher tier. And each of these gems, I do want to say, if you're actually grinding in U9, can actually go all the way up to Stellar. You don't have to forge them up to Stellar or anything like that. But either way, when you go to the character menu and click the diamond right here, or the gem, this is the gem system. So this is I'm gonna try and explain this as informative as I can, but it's a little bit tricky. So the way that it works is this gem right here. You can see, like, based on its power, like, it's actually a low tier gem, so we can actually only level it up 5 times, and it's got crit hit on it. Now, here's where the craziness comes in, is we could actually find a gem that is the exact same as this one, and it'll have completely different stats on it. And not to mention, sometimes you will actually find ones that have 3 stars in them, and they actually, the best type of gems actually have 3 different stats in them, usually resulting, the best ones that I want to try and find is damage, crit damage, and maybe some health as the 3rd stat or something like that. I'm not sure if you can get attack speed on any of the gems or anything, but either way. So if we right click this gem, we can actually start leveling it up. And when you're leveling up a gem, it's going to have a chance to crack, meaning that you're going to have to repair it. And the way that you do that is you actually go to the gem tab and spend 500 cubits in order to get yourself the Regeminator, which repairs a cracked gem with this weird item, which here's a thing that I just want to say is very, very strange. You can spend 500 cubits to get one of these, or you could end up spending 500 worth of cubits to get the Jade Clover, which I would recommend, because the Jade Clover right here, which is only 25 cubits or 1 credit, actually prevents a gem from cracking. So why would you not get that? Like, I don't understand that at all. Maybe it's just kind of placeholder or something like that. But either way, you would end up clicking this Jade Clover, and now it's going to take a Jade Clover every single time. It's going to take a little bit of flux, and it's going to take a little bit of water dust. Now, the way that you get the water dust, of course, is by throwing a water gem into the loot collector and destroying it. So you can see right here, I've actually got a bit on my person, while I have the rest of it actually just in my personal chest. So now we have a chance for it to crack. No, we don't, because we're actually using the luck charm. A chance for it to level up once, and then a chance for it to level up twice. Of course, the maximum level on gems that I've seen, I think, is level 25, maybe level 30. I haven't seen any radiant gems, so I don't know, or stellar gems, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure level 25 is the maximum and the best type of gem that you can get. So you're going to be using a lot of these clovers and stuff, because the other chance is that this is going to completely fail and it's still going to take all the resources. So as you see right there, we boosted it up. We got a slight increase in its stats, and you can totally see the potential of this with later tiered gems, because seriously, these can end up being super duper powerful. There we failed. We got to level 3, we failed again, and it's still taking our resources. And now we actually just got to its maximum level. This one only goes up to 5, and it actually ended up getting 1 star and giving us an extra stat. The stars on the gems are actually just talking, they're mostly for the player to recognize the quality of gems. So the only gems that I usually farm for is the ones that you're gonna want to be farming for the gems that are like, oh, I don't know, maybe 3-star or shadow tier or something like that. Maybe a little bit higher. You're mostly going for radiant, and then you're trying to find a good random drop of radiant. So if we actually warp out of here, I also need to show you how to equip them, because it's a little bit tedious right now anyways. I don't know if they're going to fix it, but right-clicking it actually throws it into the fuser. So in order to actually use it, you're going to have to drag and drop it over to a slot. Now, there is actually a difference in the big and small slots. I do want to point that out. These big slots are for empowered gems, while these tiny slots are just for normal gems. And you can see I've already got some decent ones, and the only way that you can actually unequip them is you drag and drop it out of your inventory or out of the slot, and it's actually going to cost us 2,000 flux to take it out. Or if we drag this one over top, it's going to cost 50 flux to destroy the gem that's on our that we are equipped to right now, and replace it with this one. So if you're trying to save all your gems, and especially the really, really good ones and stuff, you're gonna probably want to unequip them, and it means that you can swap them over to different classes and stuff like that. Empowered gems, I'm not sure if they operate the same, but I would naturally assume that they would, and in which case I'm sure that they probably are going to be like very, very difficult to unequip and cost a lot to do so. Here's my gem tab. So I got all this stuff just because it's PTS, right? So I've got a empowered gem of fire and air. I always keep calling it lightning. I'm surprised I actually got it, but you can see this one's actually got 18% crit damage and health regen. This one's got health regen and 20% crit damage, while being quite similar. And the empowered gems actually give you different abilities. So you can see right here, this gives an ability to any class. Dealing damage applies stacking damage over time effect on enemies. This one right here, taking damage, has a chance to spawn a ring of snaring projectiles, reducing enemy movement speed. So each of these empowered gems actually has different abilities and stuff like that. Similar to the banners in PvP, I think it's under that same coded system, which, by the way, you can't use any of the gems or any of this fancy stuff in PvP at all. And then in order to actually get your hands on the empowered gems, I guess before we rush over to there, I do want to say that here we've got a couple of higher tiered ones, higher than we just went to. So here's a water box gem right here, and you can see we got a shadow gem, which is a little bit less common out of the rainbow chest. Then we've got an air gem from, of course, the air biomes. Then we've got a fire gem from the fire world. And what is this strange legendary gem box, you ask? This is actually just from normal adventure worlds. Now, unlike the other elemental worlds, the gem boxes drop every single time in every world unless you go into a normal portal. These boxes actually have a chance to drop. They do not drop all the time. And then what they actually do is nothing really fancy, because they actually just give us, they can give us gem dust outright, or any of the type of elements or anything. So if you're farming for a specific element, you're definitely going to want to go to the appropriate elemental world, right? So I'm actually going to hop into the shadow tower here just so I can show you something real quick, but I'm gonna make a cut until we actually get to the shadowy merchant, because that's what we're going for. So once again, similar to forging up stellar gear, you go over to the shadowy merchant, and you actually are going to be spending lunar souls to get yourself an empowered gem vault. Open this for radiant or stellar empowered gems, or a very rare chance for a class gem key, or even rarer, a dragon egg. A diamond dragon egg, which we'll talk about that in a minute, because it's actually very exciting. So the way that this works, that's how you get the empowered gems, which means that you can only get them a couple times a week, because you only get lunar souls from defeating Daughter of the Moon, and then you have to wait until next week before it resets. So the class key gems, or the class gem key, man, that's a tongue twister. The way that those work is if you end up getting lucky enough to actually get one of those class gem keys, that is going to be what's going to help you unlock one of the specific class augmented skills. So if you don't already know, you're going to be able to take it over into the shadow world. Where is U8 there? Jeez, I should have just taken the portal to the top. I wonder if they're ever going to fix the VFX of that portal, like seriously. Oh, perfect. I'm in the same world that I was in earlier. So once you end up completing one of these Shadow Colosseums, which are extremely difficult, you're gonna need to be very, very powered up before you can actually take these guys on, or you can just run around the arena like a crazy person until you survive long enough, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna end up nerfing that somehow. Anyways, over here you would actually use the class gem key, and then a store would open up. As far as my knowledge, I haven't actually gotten that far, but a store would open up and actually give you a choice of which class gem you want. So you don't have to be like on a specific class or anything like that. You could end up farming with your main class and end up getting another class's augmented ability. And as far as I know, this is just an assumption because I don't actually know, but because the empowered gems take up these slots, and the devs have talked about the fact that unfortunately, when you end up using a class-specific gem which changes your abilities, it's permanent. There is no way of actually taking out the gem. So if you're a Tomb Raiser, don't use the gem at all, because the class gem is absolute garbage compared to his normal ability and stuff like that. But anyways, more on that in a bunch of other videos where I talked about class and gem abilities and stuff. So the way that that's gonna work is, for example, like if we end up getting ourselves the class gem of our choice, I'm assuming that it's gonna be a consumable item that you'll just use and it'll just unlock the ability on that specific class, right? I think that's how it works. I don't exactly know, but it's still pretty cool. The fact that you gotta farm lunar souls though is gonna make it a little bit tough, especially because those boxes actually have very, very low chance of dropping stuff like that. They're very, very difficult to attain. But anyways, if you end up getting lucky enough that you actually get your hands on the diamond dragon egg, which by the way, I'm sure all of this stuff, okay, so they got the booster packs. Oh wow, they actually don't have the empowered boxes. Of course, this box right here has a chance of dropping the empowered gem box, which has a chance of dropping other stuff. So if you end up getting lucky enough that you end up getting one of the diamond eggs, you can craft one of 3 dragons for a ton of resources. It's gonna cost 400 dragon coins, 20,000 of whatever dust you're gonna be getting. Now, if you're farming like crazy and if you get up to like level 30 and stuff like that, this is actually not gonna be that difficult to end up getting the dust. The dragon coins are gonna be the big problem outside of anybody that actually just does the whole pay to win thing and buys all the greater caches. And the flux is actually 100,000, so that's a pretty expensive dragon, but ultimately I would say it's very cheap considering the abilities that each of these dragons get. And of course, they're all the exact same price. The only thing that changes is the gem dust. Now, the water dragon and all of them actually respectively will give you a 10% boost towards whatever of the elemental gems that you have equipped. So of course you can see right here, this one actually gives us 10% to our water gem power. And if we go into the mount section right now, where is it? I've played this game for so long. Oh, we're already in it. Ha. So if we hover over this, you can see by having this dragon equipped, we are going to get 112 more magic damage, 99 health regen, and 3% more crit damage. So it's not like a game-breaking amount or anything like that, but I'm kind of torn between, because I love the fact that Trove lets you choose the mounts that you want to play with, and I haven't seen any of these dragons, and I'm really, really hoping that they're not secretly ugly, because then it's like, oh, even though it's ugly and I don't really like the way this dragon looks, the benefits that you get from using him are through the roof, that you just have to suck it up and just deal with it, right? So anyway, that's what the water dragon does. His side perk, just for fun, is that any holes that he blasts into the ground actually get filled with water, so that's kind of fun, kind of a little bit of a gimmick. It actually is the most useless out of all the dragons, I would say, because this one, the electric or wind dragon, Of course, powers up your air gems, but this guy actually has more movement speed and flight speed than the other dragons, and all nearby players actually will gain his, like a speed buff when you're flying around him and stuff like that. So that's very, very cool. I love the fact that they actually have introduced some type of a group mechanic, because that is great. And then the fire dragon, which is the one that everyone's gonna go for, I want it like crazy, is, he, of course, powers up the fire gems, but check this out. He actually shoots faster, like he attacks faster than the other dragons. I'm assuming this dragon is going to be normal dragon attack speed. Now, when I say normal dragon attack speed, for those that are just coming into the game now and stuff like that, dragons used to shoot like 3 times faster than they do now. They ended up nerfing it, and I'm assuming that this dragon's gonna shoot like the old dragons used to, right? But he also has, if you're in the air and you hold down the left click and shoot, normally you would end up charging your shot, right? So in this case, he's actually just gonna continuously shoot. So he's like the lazy man's dragon. And if he ends up beating Fortress, which is the green dragon that I use when I'm farming and stuff like that, because he just blasts his way into dungeons, makes grinding super duper easy because you just blast your way into the boss arena, fight the boss, get the dungeon done, etc. Boom, done next. Now, this guy, I don't know because I've never seen him in action, but I'm assuming that his fireballs and everything like that is going to end up making him probably the best dragon in the game, mostly for farming and stuff like that, if not combining it with the wind dragon so that you could get the enhanced movement speed. And the fact that this dragon has the enhanced movement speed tells me without a doubt that he is the one reason they ended up nerfing the boat hop, because otherwise this dragon was going to come out and there was already the boat hop, which was the fastest way of transportation in the game, right? I'm pretty sure that's it as far as all the gems go though, everybody. So hopefully, oh no, I guess I should talk about these other things too. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't even catch that. So yeah, there's the Lucky Horseshoe, which prevents cracking and doubles your chance of leveling up. Then there is the Dice, which prevents cracking. All of these prevent cracking, and you don't need to use them all at once. You actually just use one at a time. The Dice has a 4 times chance to level up. And then the Luck Bug, which is the hardest one to get. You can get all of these out of the booster packs, though. Let's just show right here. These gem booster boxes can actually drop all of these, as well as the empowered gem boxes. And the bug actually prevents cracking, has 2 times chance for the gem to level up, and a 10 times chance for it to double level up. But out of testing the RNG on it, it's the same as any RNG in this game, not very good. So in all honesty, if you can end up getting yourself a ton of the Jade Clovers just to prevent the cracking, honestly, it doesn't really matter outside of the fact that you're going to be spending a ton of your gem dust on the later tiered gems. So let me actually see. No, I can't level that one up. So this one right here is going to cost like 600 per. This is actually a radiant gem that I've got right here, but I don't really want to forge it up because I don't really have many of the resources and stuff like that. But either way, that is it for all the gems, everybody. So thank you all so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, do not forget to Hadouken the like button, share, favorite, and subscribe to join Team Pixel Sino, and stay epic, everybody.